And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Randall R. Sadler Stadium here in the temperate climes of Richmond, Indiana, as we get set for Earlham Quaker baseball. The Quakers, winners of 2 of their last 3, 5 of their last 6, and more importantly, coming off a big 6-1 win at Bluffton on April 5th. They will play host to the Manchester Spartans as we get ready for a battle of the top 2, or 2 of the top 3, I should say, members of the HCAC conference. Rose-Hulman leading the conference with a 6-1 conference record. The Spartans come in with a 6-2 overall HCAC record, and the Quakers tied for 3rd with the Transylvania Pioneers. Each have a 6-3 conference record. Now, the Quakers have the best record overall in the conference with a 16-5 mark. That's coming off some early strong play for the Quakers in the opening rounds back in March. Brian Cox and, I'm sorry, Ty, I don't know your last name. Butler. Ty Butler joining us for the broadcast today. And Ty, this game was originally supposed to, or this day, I should say, was originally supposed to be a doubleheader kicking off at noon. And the baseball gods had other plans. We got about 3 inches of snow last night, something like that. Covered the entire surface, which is fortunate for the Quakers in this beautiful stadium being field turf. It just took a little bit of sunshine and some hard work to get it cleared. But from a field perspective, obviously looks great, but we are obviously pushed back due to that weather, and we'll just play a single game here today, Ty.
Yeah, it just shows how crazy the Indiana weather is. One day it can be beautiful and in the 70s or 60s, and then the next thing you know, it's dumping 3 inches of snow like we saw last night. But definitely for the Quakers here, looking at the last season, they finished, they won the series against Manchester last year, but fell short in the conference tournament. So definitely they're going to be coming out with a hot start here, probably trying to get some revenge for that early bounce.
Absolutely. I think this is a key game, or a key series, actually, for the Quakers. Nice kind of, I don't want to say mid-season, but close to mid-season. And let you know how you're shaping up against one of the top teams in the conference, and hopefully kind of get you prepared as we move through the season and get ready for the end of the season tournament.
It's definitely a way to make a statement, especially with being 2 of the 3 top teams in the conference, with Rose-Hulman at the top. It's a way to show that try to keep yourself up there near the top and just kind of give yourself in a good position for conference play in the end.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like we are going to be on time, so why don't we do this? Why don't we we're not going to take breaks, is that right?
I don't think so.
No, we're not going to take breaks. You know what? Because Troy's in Boston. He's slumming it in Fenway Park watching, I think it's Toronto and the Red Sox, you know, as an avowed Red Sox hater. And I really didn't hate the Red Sox until Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. I used to like the Red Sox. But in honor of Troy being in, the enemy's camp, we're going to not do commercials because we don't care. Troy's not listening. What do we care? But here are the starting lineups. First, we'll talk about the home Quakers. As I mentioned, 16-5 overall on the season with a 6-3 conference mark. Leading off for the Quakers and playing center field, number 17, Brennan Laird. Batting second and playing right, number 1, Ethan Bailey. Batting third and playing shortstop will be number 3, Thomas Ray. Batting fourth, your third baseman, number 23, Brandon Smalling. Batting fifth at first base, number 19, Eric Elkus. Your designated hitter, batting sixth, number 38, Joe Piper. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 5, Cody Krumloff. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 11, Drew Dietz. And batting ninth, the left fielder, number 20, Matt Barger. So again, it'll be Laird, Bailey, Ray, Smalling, Elkus, Piper, Krumloff, Dietz, and Barger. The pitcher for the Quakers will be the right-hander Howie Smith, number 30. He is a junior. He comes in with a 3.89 ERA, a 3-2 overall record. This will be his 7th appearance. And one of the good things, Ty, obviously, this is a two-part game, right? You got to pitch, actually 3-part game: pitch, catch, and defense. And the Quakers leading the conference in hitting with a 327 batting average, and they also lead the conference in ERA with 3.19. That'll lead to a lot of wins if you're doing 2 of the 3 at the top of the conference level.
Yeah, and that's what Earlham really does well. They're able to put the bat on the ball. They really are aggressive on the base path as well. They really put the pressure on the opposing team. And from what it looks like on paper, Manchester tries to kind of copy that same style. So really, this could be a real high-scoring game.
Well, we will take this quick little timeout while the national anthem will be played, and then we'll come back with the starting lineup for the Manchester. By the dawn of the light, what's so proud? And we're back at Sadler Field. Here are the starting lineups for the Manchester Spartans. Leading off and playing left field, number 5, Chad Schultz. Batting second, the third baseman, number 39, Hunter Lane. Batting third, the shortstop, number 2, Sean Nepper. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 13, Taylor Zarinsky. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 3, Tyler LaFollette. Batting sixth, the center fielder, number 4, Eric Nepper. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 15, Elliott Ford. Batting eighth, getting his first playing time this season, and your designated hitter for the Spartans, number 36, Ryan Kirshner. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 11, Christian Smith. So again, for the Spartans, it'll be Schultz, Lane, Nepper of the Sean variety, Zarinsky, LaFollette, Eric Nepper, Ford, Kirshner, and Smith. And on the mound for the Spartans will be number 30, a right-hander, Taylor Copeland. He is in his 8th appearance here today with a 3-3 record with a 2.80 ERA. Batters are hitting .227 against him. We talked about how the Quaker bats leading the conference with a .327 record. This is going to be with the irresistible force against the immovable object, and see who's going to. I know Mitch Blankenspore, the best sports information director in the history of the world, has said, if the starting pitching goes out early, we're going to be in for a long game.
Yeah, and it could easily come down to that. Whenever hitters are hot, they kind of run that streak out, and you can really gain momentum quick when it comes to baseball. All it takes is 1 or 2 plays, and next thing you know, you're going through your lineup once more halfway through the inning.
Absolutely. Baseball is such a momentum game, as you mentioned, Ty, that one bad thing goes wrong, it seems like it just snowballs. But that can also go the same way on positive things. So Howie Smith on the mound. He will face the left fielder, Chad Schultz. Chad batting .337 on the season. The junior from Fair Oaks, Indiana. And here's Smith's first pitch. And that will be lined and nearly caught on the fly by Dietz, but he will throw over to Elkus for out number 1. And tell Mitch this is going to be a quick game.
Yeah, and right off the bat, you can already tell that Manchester's going to be aggressive. They didn't wait to kind of see what Howie Smith has in stock. They just went right at it. And anytime they see a pitcher, it's going to swing.
Yeah, I always like that approach to baseball. That may be the best pitch you see in the entire at bat. You might as well go ahead and offer at it. Here's Hunter Lane, the third baseman. He's batting .269 on the season, and he watches that first pitch come in for a strike.
That's one thing you don't see much. You usually see people with some gloves. It's nice to see old style. Just go ahead and grab the bat and go to work.
Especially on a cold day, you're 100% right. No batting gloves at all. And that pitch was low, 1-1 now. 1 away here in the top of the first. The temperature out there's got to be in the upper 30s, right? Something. That ball is popped to left field. Barger will make it a little bit more of an adventure than I originally thought. The wind blowing from left to right field on your screen. 36 here on April 9th after 2 or 3 inches of snow last night. So, yes, spring has sprung.
Groundhog's lie. We found that out, too.
Welcome to Indiana. Here's Sean Nepper, the shortstop. He's batting .357 on the year, a senior from Bremen, Indiana. That first pitch strike. So far, Howie Smith, the first 3 batters he's faced, he's gotten a first pitch strike on all 3.
Really attacking the strike zone so far. He's not playing around, not trying to get them to go for anything. He's just going to go ahead and attack the strike zone and let his players behind him make the plays.
Nepper down in the count 0-2 with 2 away. High fastball outside as well, 1-2. Again, this is originally scheduled to be a doubleheader. It will be a single game today and a doubleheader tomorrow. That breaking ball hung up high and will be hit out of play. Count will stay 1-2. So tomorrow, the first, where we looking at noon, potentially 11, but definitely noon, if not 11. So just tune in.
Oh, yeah. Might as well come early.
Come early, bring the kids. Fantastic park, and hopefully it'll be above freezing. Good job fighting off that outside pitch by Nepper. Count will stay 1-2.
Beautiful facility as well.
Oh, my goodness. Jewel of the Midwest. I meant that sincerely. I hope it didn't sound disenchanted. It truly is. It's a remarkable facility, and I highly encourage anybody listening or watching that has not been here to make the pilgrimage. It is worth the visit. Not a bad seat in the house. 2-2 pitch. It's going to be dribbled down the third base line. Smalling bobbles it, still has time, and uncorks it. That's got to be an E. So Nepper reaches on the error by Smalling. He got to the ball in plenty of time, just in the transition from the glove to his hand, just bobbled it a little bit.
Almost one of those where you knew what you wanted to do, and you kind of just moved quicker than you needed to, so you didn't have the good grip. And with these conditions here, how cold it is, it's easy not to be able to feel the ball the way you normally do.
And with that strong right arm that he has, he nearly got out of that with a good, strong throw, but the runner beats it. That's going to bring up Taylor Zarensky, the first baseman, batting .337 on the year. The junior from Bluffton, Indiana. Nepper gets the lead. He will bluff. And again, Howie Smith working ahead as he has Zarensky in the hole 0-2.
He's been ahead on the count so far early in the game. It'll be interesting when these at-bats come up. If he falls behind, see how he handles that.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a big key. You know, if you can work from ahead, it's going to make the batter's job that much more difficult, because now he's working off of, your pitches, and you're dictating the at-bat versus the opposite. You know,
yeah, it's a whole different world. You feel like you're ahead in one, and the other one you feel like you just got to keep it away.
Pitch low. Run the count to 2-2. Just underway here in the top of the first. 2 away. Runner on at first base. Sean Nepper. He reached on the error by Brandon Smalling. And Smith's pitch outside is fouled off. Count will stay even at 2-2. When the Quakers get their time at bat here at the bottom of the first, you'll have Brendan Laird, Ethan Bailey, and Thomas Ray scheduled.
That's a scary lineup for any pitcher on the mound, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there. And Howie Smith gets that pitch hit in the left power alley. That is going to allow Nepper to reach third, and motoring all the way to second is Zarensky.
just like that.
And just like that.
You think the Quakers might get out of the inning, and now you find yourself with 2 runners in scoring position.
Tyler LaFollette, the number 5 hitter, the right fielder, batting a robust .396. 1 home run, 14 RBI, and he has a chance here to stake the Spartans to a quick 2-run lead. Howie again, first pitch strike.
Really favoring the outside with his first pitch location. And the umpire's giving it to him each time.
Howie eyes and fires that breaking ball in there for a strike. So I believe for the 3rd consecutive hitter, he has him down 0-2. Nepper reached on the error, and Zarinsky on the double, I believe Mitch scored that. Breaking ball had just caught the inside, but LaFollette turns on it into the dugout, and that was that could have been a little dangerous over there.
Also could have been costly with especially with Krumloff sitting on the outside framing it, and it went right on the inside of the hands. He could have easily turned on that one and made him pay.
Here's the 0-2 delivery. In fastball on the outside corner, that is going to fall foul as Ethan Bailey had to run quite a way to even make an attempt on that ball. The wind all of a sudden has just died. The count will stay at 0-2. And if you were to just tune in now and you see a runner at second and runner at third, it really doesn't belie how well Howie Smith has pitched early. He's pitched ahead and really had nice location.
He's really kept in front of everyone so far. It's just been that one pitch that he couldn't finish through. And, I mean, credit to the batter being able to put the bat on the ball. He's always been in a good position.
And Krumloff will set up outside. That breaking pitch. The entire infield and outfield was on their way to the dugout. And the benevolent umpire behind the plate said, no, let's see another pitch. So here's the 1-2 delivery from Howie Smith. Fastball inside, again turned on and hit towards the Spartan dugout. Those guys are definitely going to have to continue to pay attention. Is that considered workman's comp if they get popped? No workman's comp. Mitch shaking his head in disgust. Absolutely not, Cox. But comebacker to Howie Smith, bobbles it briefly, has plenty of time, and will make the throw. So no runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base after a half inning of play. Your score, Manchester 0, Earlham coming to bat. You're watching Quaker Baseball, the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network. Back at Randall Sadler Stadium as we move to the bottom of the first inning. Leading off for the Quakers, the center fielder, number 17, Brennan Laird. Brennan batting .361 on the year, and I mentioned earlier how Mitch Blankenspor is the best sports information director in the history of the world. Just gave us a note that since the last game in Florida, which was in the first week and a half of the season, which to that point, Brennan had been batting $150. Since that game, since they come back up north from Florida. He's been batting .500. He swings on that first pitch over to Sean Nepper, and much like we saw on the top of the first pitch, first out.
Yeah, and just copying right there the Spartans what they did. So it's almost a good sign here that the bats are going to be hot today. If the batter's going to be aggressive, we could really be in for a show.
Here's the Quaker right fielder, number 1, Ethan Bailey, a senior from Greensburg, Indiana, batting .333. Spent much of the opening part of the year in the bottom portion of the lineup, and here he is batting in the 2-hole. And he sees that first pitch come over on the inside corner for a strike. Ethan, one of the favorites of the RadioTroy.com empire, goes back to years ago helping us out at the soccer stadium, or soccer fields, I should say. It will be a stadium in the near future. Taylor Copeland, sophomore, with a 2.80 ERA, 3-3 record. In 45 innings pitched, he's given up 40 hits and 14 earned runs. He's only walked 14, struck out 28. I mentioned earlier, batters are hitting .227 against him. Bailey with a 2-2 count. Watches that pitch. Good eye on the outside. So here it is, full. Bailey, 1 home run, 16 RBI. There's a chopper to Sean Nepper, and that's probably going to be a hit, I would think. That's going to be a tough play. I just talked Mitch into that for my friend, Ethan Bailey. He's vacillating. That'll bring up the shortstop, Thomas Ray, because he's going to have to throw across his body coming in. It's a tough play.
This is tough when you're charging in as well. And you got someone that quick running over first. You got to move quick, and you don't have time to.
Yeah, that's Ethan Bailey running from home to first, not Brian Cox. That's going to be a tough play. That ball will stay in play, and that is a quick second out. I didn't even get to mention that Thomas is batting .326, but he will grab some bench, and that'll bring up Brandon Smalling, the third baseman. .342 hitter on the season, 1 home run, 19 RBI. He has walked 13 times and struck out only 5. Ethan Bailey down at first. He is 5 for 5 in stolen base attempts, and he goes. It was not quite sure if that was going to be a hit and run as the swing from Smalling looked like he was trying to pull himself off of that breaking pitch inside, but it's going to be 0-1, and Bailey will go back to first base, his home. Copeland gets the sign, decides to wait for about an hour, and will step off the mound, or off the rubber, the bump, whatever we want to call it. And anyone that's ever listened to me do a game knows how much I love delays, unnecessary delays.
You got to love them.
Copeland throws that pitch into the, can't say dirt either, throws it into the rubber marbles. Oh, is that the official term, Mitch?
We'll go with it.
After everything I've talked about how good of the SID you are. And that's going to get, I thought they had Ethan. But he lives to steal another day.
Steal another base, maybe?
Oh, yeah, he's going to steal
another base.
He's going to steal all 3. Here's the 1-1. That caught the outside corner. Now 1-2. Quakers have only been caught stealing, 2, 5, 6 times, and that is going to be tough for Nepper, and that is beat out. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Might be a makeup call, but
perhaps. I thought that Smalling was going to get there, but nonetheless, that's going to end the inning on the 6-3. So 1 hit. No runs on 1 hit. 1 runner left on base, and no errors. We'll move to the top of the second with your score: Earlham 0, Manchester 0. You're watching Quaker Baseball, the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
Fight breast cancer. To do that at the concession stand, and fans who donate will receive a ticket for a drawing for a basket of pink goodies that will be held at the end of the seventh inning. Now batting number 4, Eric Nepper.
My apologies. Back at Randall Sadler Stadium, Howie Smith continuing his dominance with first pitch strike as Eric Nepper, the center fielder and number 6 hitter, will lead off the second inning for the Spartans. He's batting .263 on the season. Real quick, going back to what I was mentioning about the Quakers and the base pass, I think they've only been thrown out stealing 6 times, and as a point of reference to that, you would think, okay, well, that's not, is that good or bad? But they've had close to 50 or more.
Total of 65, I believe.
Is it 65?
Stolen bases this season so far.
65 so they're about, 90% success rate. That's not too shabby.
6th in the nation as well, correct? 6th in the whole nation for stolen bases per game. Almost 3. Just shy of it.
And that will go down as strikeout number 1 for Howie Smith. So 1 away here in the top of the second, and that'll bring up the catcher, Elliott Ford. He's batting .264. Nepper had struck out 18 times in the season. Ford has struck out 21, so that bodes well for Howie Smith. And again, working ahead of the count with starting out with a strike. And I believe that he's thrown first pitch strike to every hitter that he's faced so far.
I honestly don't remember the last time I saw him today not throw a first pitch strike.
And he's ahead 0-2. Now, you might remember Schultz had the first pitch swinging, but that obviously goes down as ball in play.
Yeah, of course. And it's obviously going to be a strike if he's going to swing at it.
Sure. And there's a ball in the marbles, turf?
Ball in the turf.
Like, ball in the turf.
Ball in the turf.
I like it. We're going to go with that. Ty has officially given it a name. 1-2 delivery. Pitch on the inside. It was going to be a tough pitch for Ford to do anything with. Good location, and he weakly fouls it down the third base line. We'll stay at 1-2.
Sun's starting to come out now. Might heat up a little bit.
8:12 is the dusk time. You can hear the crowd extolling the virtues of that pitch. Incredulous that it was not called a strike. Howie Smith gets the sign from Cody Krumloff, and there is the pitch on the outside corner, and that would be strikeout number 2.
Once again, just attacking the strike zone there. Smith making a statement early, just letting him know that you're going to have to swing if you want to get on base.
He's a pinch hitter already. So Ryan Kirshner, who was set to make his debut as the designated hitter, doesn't even get a chance.
As Braden Stell steps up now.
And Braden Stell, the junior from Huntington, Indiana. Get you some stats on that gentleman.
Interesting, to say the least. It's early.
I guess you would have to think that maybe perhaps an injury. And the breaking ball breaks the streak. Ball 1. Braden Stell batting .222. And he pops that up into center field. Can of corn for Mr. Laird, and we will move to the bottom of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. Your score, Manchester 0, Quakers 0. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
Now batting the first baseman, number 19.
Back at Randall Sadler Stadium, where I'm being chastised for my lack of culinary experience. You know, as a fat guy, I like what I like. Mitch.
A lot of fun here. A lot of fun here.
But I digress. Here's Eric Elkus, the first baseman, leading off the second inning for the Quakers. And that will be fouled into the Spartan bullpen. So Eric, 0-1. Eric, Mr. Elkus, if you're nasty, he is a junior from Edgewood, Kentucky, and he may not like Rubens either. Maybe he doesn't like sauerkraut. But guess what he does? He likes to hit .316 on the season. And he has a 1-1 count here in the bottom of the second inning. 0-0 your score for you soccer fans. See, that's the other thing, Ty. You get into soccer, you know, you got to have all the proper lingo or you get chastised. Oh, yeah. But then sometimes it, you know,
it'll carry on.
Yeah,
you're just enlightening everyone else.
Thank you. See, you get me, Ty. The 2-1 pitch is hit sky high. Looking to make a play on it is our Zarinsky, and it will fall out of play. Count now 2-2.
Nice placement there by the bullpen. Prevent the visiting team from getting that out.
Absolutely.
Nice design of the field.
That was all due to Coach Sakasitz, and we might mention that Coach recently received his 100th, or earned his 100th win in his coaching career. And that ball is hit towards center field. A little bit of trouble initially for Eric Nepper, battling the sun as well, but he squeezes it for out number 1. Here's the designated hitter, Joe Piper. Joe. Sorry, I apologize. I was thrown off by hot chocolate. Excuse me. Joe is a sophomore from Brick, New Jersey. And his walk-up music of Sweet Caroline by Mr. Neil Diamond. He watches that fastball low in the zone, but it's a strike. 0-1.
Always a good song to keep the crowd going. Get them into it.
That's exactly right. That ball is going to land right on top of our roof. And I lied, but it did hit our window. And Megan was scared.
You break it, you pay it.
That's right. That's why we can't have nice things. Balls hit our press box. Yeah. Joe, a .295 hitter, has struck out 16 times in 61 at-bats, and he has a 1-2 count right now. You know, we talked about how well Howie Smith has been pitching. Taylor Copland has been pitching pretty well himself, and Joe Piper gets a hit right past Sean Nepper, the shortstop. And for the second consecutive inning, the Quakers have a runner on at first. Here's the catcher, number 5, Cody Krumloff, the 7-hole hitter. Cody, the junior from Auburn, Indiana, in northern India, in the Fort Wayne region, or in that area. Joe is 1 for 1 in stolen base attempts, but I would not expect him to be going here. There's a swing and a miss. Mr. Crumbloff, 0-1 to count with 1 away. Copland will look in to Ford to get the side. That pitch misses. Count evens out at 1-1. Copland, we talked about in 45 innings pitched, has only given up 40 hits. And doesn't walk many. That ball gets away briefly from Ford, but out of his crouch quickly and keeps Joe Piper down at first base. 2-1 to count. And a quick move. We saw that earlier with Ethan Bailey back in the first inning, where Copland nearly caught Ethan napping there at first base, and Joe Piper needs to pay attention, as that's a pretty good move from Copland. Here's the pitch. Going to be hit down to the third base line, and the third baseman, Lane, gets it over to Smith for the force at second.
Now to play the second
So,
baseman,
good idea there, but with the way that ball was hit, got a lot of airtime there, dribbling over to third, and just enough time for Krumloff to get to first to prevent that double play.
So Krumloff will be on first with the fielder's choice, and that's going to bring up Drew Dietz, the second baseman, batting 147. No home runs and 2 RBI on the season. First pitch, fastball inside, 1-0. So far, that's really been the only difference from how Howie Smith and Taylor Copland have pitched. Both have pitched well early, but Howie Smith is generally always pitching ahead, and Copland is usually pitching behind.
Yeah, and that just shows two different styles of how each one's comfortable with. Some pitchers don't mind getting behind the count and then just go ahead and attack the strike zone. Some others just like to get right ahead and then just go to work.
Another throw over to first, which wasn't a challenge at all for Krumloff, as he's not getting near the lead that the others have. And, well, the throw is over to second base, which there was no one there. I'm not sure what Ford had intended, and looks like the coaching staff, head coach Rick Epicet in his 19th year, is Espacet, maybe wondering if there was a little interference from Drew Dietz. But I mentioned that Cody Krumloff probably wasn't going to be moving or getting far off of the lead, but now he is 3 for 3 on stolen base attempts. So Krumloff at second, a 2-1 count to Dietz.
So the first time we've seen something like that before happen, especially with the MLBs, where it actually ended up scoring a run in recent history. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, I forget, but batter was still in the box, got hit by the catcher, and they rolled it as fair.
And that will do it as Lane throws over to Zarinsky. So Dietz will ground out 5-3, and we will move to the top of the third. No runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 runner left on base after 2. Your score, zeros across the board. You're watching Quaker Baseball, the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
Here on this cold Western day, hot chocolate and eel warmer is now available in the concession stand.
We'll move to the top of the third inning.
Baseman number 11, Christian Smith.
They'd be 9-1 and 2 due up for the Spartans. The second baseman, number 11, Christian Smith. Christian, a freshman from Fortville, Indiana, batting .200. And Howie's first pitch misses 1-0. Christian has 3 hits and 15 at-bats coming into this game, and he'll foul that one off. Please return that ball to the field.
Tall grass out there. That ball
Yeah,
disappeared out of nowhere.
Good luck looking for that as it absolutely disappears. And that pitch missing. Good location, however. Down and away. The 2-1. Nice job of hitting by Christian Smith, going with that pitch. Hits it in between the first and second baseman. And that'll be a base hit.
Definitely good job of the at-bat there. The ball was kind of going away, staying in the batter's box, not leaning forward too much, and just kind of chase the ball with your hands. You're able to poke that through.
So we move back to the top of the lineup. That'll be the left fielder, number 5, Chad Schultz. Chad grounded out in his first at-bat. And that ball will look like it will go into the Quaker bullpen. So 0-1 now to Schultz. Wind now picking back up. It had died completely there for a while, but now blowing again pretty briskly from left to right. Snap throw from Krumloff. That pitch missing somewhere. Now 3-1, and this is by far the biggest hole that Howie Smith has been in 2+ innings now. I don't recall him going 2-1 to anybody. But now 3-1 to Schultz. And here's a double play. Ray to Dietz to Elkus. Doesn't have quite the ring of Tinkers to Evers to Chance, but nonetheless, that is a double play. And that'll bring up the third baseman, number 39, Hunter Lane.
Almost seemed as if Schultz kind of just gave up halfway. He was barely past the halfway mark by the time they're already turning 2 on him.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I just do not like about baseball these days. Just run everything out because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you can never know.
That pitch fouled away. 0-1 now on Hunter Lane. Hunter, the sophomore from Napanee, Indiana.
Napanee.
Yeah. Big Amish population up there, right? Napanee?
I'm honestly not even sure.
I think so. 1-1 to the sophomore. That pitch catching the outside corner. Now 1-2. 2 away here in the top of the third inning. No score. Both clubs have 2 hits. The Quakers have the 1 error. That breaking ball does not break. Stays up high, hanging. 2-2. Yeah, Napanee's a Amish community, right? Yeah. Northern India, near Shipshewana. Again, going opposite field with the pitch, and that was always going to be a tough play for Ethan Bailey, battling the sun and coming in on it as the ball was diving down, and that's going to be a 3-base hit for Hunter Lane. Hunter popped out, lined out, whatever you want to call it, to left field in the first inning. But now he gets the triple. So that'll bring up Sean Nepper, the shortstop, He reached on the error by Smalling in the first inning. And the first scoring chance of the third inning for Manchester. Remember, back in that first inning, they had runners on at second and third, and Howie got out of that jam. Let's see if he can get out of this one as well. First pitch strike to Sean Nepper. Sean, the senior from Bremen, Indiana. Two outs here in the top of the third. Runner at third base. 0-1 count to Sean. Make it 0-2. Crowd encouraging Howie Smith to be big right here. Well, he is. He's like 6'4". What more does he need to do? And he gets another comebacker and will lob it over to Eric Elkus to end the inning. So no runs on one hit, 2 hits. No errors, 1 runner left on base. After 2.5, your score, Earlham 0, Manchester 0. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
Breast Cancer Awareness Day here at Randall R. Sadler Stadium. You can make donations at the concession stand. Fans who donate will receive a ticket for a drawing. And ask for the putting television in on the cemetery. Some facts about breast cancer: 567 women are diagnosed in the United States. There's 109 breast cancer patients die in the U.S. per day. Only 37% of women over the age of 40 in our area have not had a mammogram in the past 12 months. The American Cancer Society reminds women over 40 will screening mammogram once a year as long as they are in good health.
We move to the bottom of the third inning.
Now batting the left fielder,
It'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for the Quakers. So Matt Barger, the left fielder, will lead off the inning. Batting .350. 21 hits in 60 at-bats. 1 home run, 9 RBI. Struck out 12 times, and he grounds that down to first. Going to be a tough play, but a good job by Zarinsky. And give Copland credit for getting over and covering the bag quickly.
Now
So
batting
1
the
away.
fielder, number 17, Brennan Laird.
Go move to the top of the lineup, and the center fielder, Brennan Laird. Brennan ground out to short in his first at-bat.
That was almost odd there. Copland went over to the first base umpire and gave him the ball and told him to look at it. And don't know if there's something on there he wanted questionable or not.
Yeah, well, he's already doctored it. It's a joke. I don't need any letters to mention. He's already mad at me. The whole sauerkraut thing. Laird sees that first pitch come on the inside corner for strike 1, and then he tries to decapitate one of his teammates with that line shot into the Quaker dugout. 0-2. Now you see Coach Sack examining the ball. So maybe we are getting somebody doctoring him up a little bit. As Laird, he goes with the pitch, but grounds it out to Smith.
Now batting the right fielder,
Laird now
number
0-2 on the
Ethan
day.
Bailey.
And that'll bring up the Quaker right fielder, Ethan Bailey. Ethan singled back in the first inning. Came into the game batting .333. He lays down a bunt down the third base line. That is a base knock. He caught Lane napping down there at third base and just had great positioning. There was really nothing Copland can do, and Bailey is now 2 for 2 on the day. Quaker shortstop, the senior, number 3, Thomas Ray. Senior from Indianapolis. I think he ground back to the pitcher back in the first inning. And that pitch is inside, 1-0. Oh, that's right. Yeah, right down here. And it was on the first pitch, if I'm not mistaken, because I didn't get a chance to mention that Thomas is batting .326 in the year, 2 home runs, 16 RBI. With a healthy .512 slugging percentage. 2-0 now with 2 outs and Ethan Bailey down at first base. Big swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch. 2-1.
With 2 hitting teams like this, you always have to wonder, when are the runs going to come? Are they going to come quick and just pour on, or you get spurts every now and then?
Yeah, that's a great point. So far, good pitching has gotten the best of good hitting.
Only one way to know is to stay tuned in and find out, though.
That's excellent broadcasting right there, Ty. You're gonna do great in the business. Bailey on the move, and Ray hits it to short, and that's going to do it. As Nepper to Zorinsky ends the inning, so no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 3 innings, the Quakers 0, Spartans 0. You're watching Earlham Baseball, the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network. Top of the 4th here in sunny Richmond, Indiana, with a balmy 36-degree temperature, come fresh off of wonderful snowfall that you certainly expect on April 8th / April 9th here in the Hoosier Heartland.
Nowhere else you'd rather be.
Here's the number 4 hitter and the Spartan first baseman, number 13, Taylor Zorinsky, the junior, batting .337 on the year. From Bluffton, Indiana. I think that's how it's officially pronounced, right? Indiana.
Of course.
Howie misses 1-0. That will be popped up. Should be a play for Elkus. And he drops it. So the second Quaker error, and I apologize for jinxing us, but absolutely popped right out of his glove.
I'll tell you what, the right side of the field's had troubles throughout the day for both sides, though. So, although you got to have that, it helps whenever both teams are struggling.
Yeah, you know, the sun is always tough for the right side of the field here at Sadler Stadium, but I know Eric would second this. That's definitely a ball he's got to handle. And Tyler LaFollette will fly out to Brennan Laird for out number 1 here in the 3rd. LaFollette, the freshman from Warsaw, Indiana, will record the first out of the 3rd inning for the Spartans, and that'll bring up the number 6 hitter, the center fielder, number 4, Eric Nepper, sophomore, batting .263. And Eric, from the same town as Sean Nepper.
I almost have to assume that there's some relation there.
I would think. 1-0, so the last couple of hitters, Howie's missed the first pitch, and now he's in the hole. 2-0 to Eric Nepper. Eric, .263 hitter, 20 hits in 76 at-bats. He has 4 home runs, which is second on the team. 13 RBI. That pitch an inside corner for strike 1. 1 away here in the top of the 4th. And again, the Spartans have runners on base, or a runner on base. Semantics. Pitch catches the outside corner now, 2-2. Howie shakes off the first sign. Will come set, and the 2-2 will be fouled out of play. One of the things that we also love, Ty, that Troy and I have over the years, is pitchers who work quickly. No unnecessary delays and work quickly. You become a fan favorite.
You'll see a lot of people that kind of worry about their mechanics a little too much and kind of really slow it down. But yeah, Howie Smith, he's just going right at it. He's not wasting any time hardly. He wants to get in and get out.
You know, that's one of the best quotes in Bull Durham is, "Don't think, it can only hurt the ball club." So yeah, just rock and fire. Let's just do it. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 for Howie Smith, and that is the second strikeout of the day for Eric Nepper. So here's Elliott Ford, the catcher, number 7 hitter, 264 hitter.
I'll tell you what, if you looked out and you didn't know, you'd think it'd be a nice day, but then you look to your right and you still see some snow built up.
Yeah, it's definitely not a nice day. Here's Howie's first pitch to Ford. It is fouled back to the screen, 0-1. Ford struck out looking in his first at-bat. And running on the pitch and stealing that base easily was Zarinsky.
About halfway there by the time the ball released.
And he is now 2 for 3. 2 for 3 on solo base attempts now, and it's almost like they completely forgot about him. However, that will be rendered moot if Howie Smith can get the final strike here on Ford. 0-2, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. He looks back and fires in a swing and a miss. So 4 strikeouts on the day for Howie Smith, and they have been 2 each for Eric Nepper and Elliott Ford. And we'll move to the bottom of the 4th inning. With your score, Earlham 0, Manchester 0. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
With those scores.
Move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Let's see who is due up for your Quakers. I believe it'll be Smalling, Elkus, and Piper.
You got to wonder if you're a Quaker fan, when do the runs start coming? A lineup right here could easily bring it. All it takes is one good at bat. And as we've seen before, earlier in the season, the Quaker bench, they're loud when they want to be, and they could really spark something here.
Yeah, we talked about earlier, Ty, that the Quakers, leading the conference in hitting with 327. The Manchester Spartans, batting 288, which is not horrible coming into this game. But both teams pitching so far has been the story of the ball game. Howie Smith has pitched a whale of a ball game, interspersed with a couple of errors that he's had to battle around. But Taylor Copeland has really done a nice job for the Spartans.
And you always have to wonder if this delay kind of set them off as well. They might have been ready to play this morning, and then just this delay kind of just had them drag on, and they're trying to wake up and get this ball game going.
Brandon Smalling, the cleanup hitter and third baseman for the Quakers, batting .342 on the season, and nearly got clipped on that pitch, and he's surprised that it was called a strike. So he's now down in the count 1-2. Smalling from Mooresville, Indiana. That breaking pitch. Oh, my word. How in the world is that called a strike? I'm all in favor of differences of opinion, but my goodness. And this is where Troy would say it's a game of angles.
Yeah, of course, because, I mean, Smalling, he is covering over that mound pretty much. He gets in there real close, but also you got to give the batter some room.
Well, that inside pitch again being called a strike. Eric Elkus will step to the plate. Quaker first baseman batting .316. And working quickly, now down 0-2.
And ever since those calls, Copland's been really going at the inside. He knows that umpire likes calling it, and he's not going to stay away from it.
Well, why wouldn't he? I'd move a couple of inches in every time till he says it's a ball. 1-2. One away here in the bottom of the fourth. No score. And that's going to be hit towards the shortstop, Nepper. He will make the long throw over to Zarinsky for out number 2. So here's Joe Piper, the designated hitter for the Quakers. Joe, the sophomore from Brick, New Jersey, batting .295. So good. So good. So good. Piper singled in his first at-bat, and he will hit that down the third base line. A good job by Lane of getting over there and corralling it. And that was going to be a close play because Zarinsky had to jump high for the ball, and apparently he came down on the bag before Piper reached it. So we've played 4. We have no score, and we'll move to the top of the 5th. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network. And we're back at the phenomenal Randall R. Sadler Stadium here on the campus of Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana, as we've played 4 innings of baseball with no score. Howie Smith, his first pitch to the designated hitter who pinch hit is Ryan Kirshner. Didn't even get the chance to come to the plate. And this is Stell who will put that ball up in center field. It's going to be Brennan Laird, out number 1.
Tell you what, that must be devastating. Thinking see your name in that lineup, you're getting ready to play.
For the first time, by the way, of the
season.
season.
About to go, and sorry, kid.
Sorry.
You have to wait a little longer.
You gone. So Braden Stell is the junior from Huntington, Indiana, who just flew out to open the inning. And
inside pitch once again.
Christian Smith, the second baseman, had a base hit to right in his first AB. And the Yacker miss. None of the calls going the Quakers' way. 1-1, the count to Smith. And he will hit that to Thomas Ray. Thomas scoops, fires into the dugout. That'll be the third error for the Quaker defense. And yet another situation that Howie Smith is going to have to battle out of. But give Christian Smith some credit. He has been on base both at bats. So we'll move back to the top of the lineup, the left fielder, number 5, Chad Schultz. And let's hope that Howie Smith can work out of this jam. Runner at second, 1 away here in the top of the 5th inning. His first pitch to Schultz is outside, 1-0. You know, the first inning tie, Howie had runners at second and third, had to battle out of that. And I believe it was last inning he had a runner at third base, had to battle out of that. And all of those events were predicated upon an error that got those runners on base. And now he hits Chad Schultz, which exacerbates the problem.
You almost got to hope that history repeats itself in this case. Earlham, when they've had their backs on the wall and had to really dig deep to get out, they have. So, once again, if you're a Quaker fan, you hope they're able to do this once more.
Here is Hunter Lane, the third baseman. He's 1 for 2 today with a fly out and a triple. There's a snap throw down to second from Krumloff. And Smith back easily. 0-1 to Hunter Lane. And we have 1 out over the press box, 1-2. Oh, poor horse.
I don't think safe to say that no horses were hurt.
Yeah, no horses were injured in that sound effect. That is true.
For all those out there that was wondering.
Runners on the move, and the breaking ball is turned on, but Barker is right under there.
Wind in the opposite direction as usual, and that could have been trouble.
Yeah, not only that, but that was a hanger that Hunter Lane absolutely turned on. But you're right, just got under it a little bit, not quite full power. And here's the shortstop, Sean Nepper.
With the wind the opposite direction, forcing the ball to stay inside. We've seen many times where there's been some fly balls in this field, and they've just carried way over.
Howie's first pitch to Nepper is outside. The outfield is basically playing straight away, and with the way that Smith has been pitching, he's favored, especially to the right-handed hitters, favoring that outside corner. And if the Spartans, can go with the pitch, that bodes well for the defense. You've got to position your defense the way that your pitcher is actually going to pitch. And Smith now with a 1-1 count to Sean Nepper. And another foul out of play, 1-2.
Once again, runners on first and second, 2 outs. They could find their way back out of this inning.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, just swing and a miss, and what a job that Howie Smith continues to do to pick up his defense that has put him in some holes. And he gets strikeout number 5 to end the inning. We'll move to the bottom of the 5th. No runs. There was an error. There was a couple of runners left on base.
A little bit of everything.
It was a veritable smorgasbord of baseball activity, and we'll take a quick break and come back with the Quaker half of the 5th inning. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network. The Quakers will send up the 7, 8, 9 hitters here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and leading off will be the catcher, Cody Krumloff, the junior from Auburn, Indiana. Comes into the ball game batting .354. Cody ground into a fielder's choice in his first at bat. That pitch high and tight, 1-0. Surprised it wasn't called a strike.
Yeah, I was
after
waiting
last
for that
half
one.
inning. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to let it die.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, a couple of those calls were also pretty late, in my opinion, as well. So I'll just wait for that finger to point over and light them up for a strike.
Good pitch on the outside half of the plate. 1-1 now to Cody. That breaking ball missing low. 2-1. So far, the story of the game has been pitching on both sides, and really, the pitching of Howie Smith is kind of hidden or made less important. The 3 Quaker errors that have overcome the poor defensive performance so far for the Quakers.
He really has done a good job at it. Then you look over at Copland, and he's really stayed ahead of each batter and has a strikeout right there once more. He's really put Manchester in position to where their defense can kind of just relax from time to time and just make routine plays, and he'll take care of everyone else.
Absolutely. Copland has just been a beast on the mound for the Spartans, and that'll bring up Drew Dietz. Drew, sophomore from Hamilton, Ohio, that Cincinnati area. Watches that first pitch come over for a ball. And Copland working quickly in a bunt attempt. That will go for a strike. 1-1 to Dietz.
That's definitely one thing. A pitcher that likes to work quick, you don't want them to get a groove and make them feel comfortable, because they'll just keep firing them in there, and that confidence can just overcome each inning and just keep adding on.
Sure, you need to break their rhythm, step out of the box, do whatever you can do. 2-1 now to Drew. Quaker second baseman ground out in his first at bat. And breaking ball hang. Whoa! Woo!
Take a picture of him clearing out and then make the call.
That was appeared to be a little high. 2-2. And Drew fights off that curve. That breaking ball out of play. 2-2. 1 away here at the bottom of the 5th. Another foul out of play. Here at the Earlham, we're tolerant of all views, but I think the home plate umpire, his view is getting to be a little less tolerated, in my opinion. And I don't speak on behalf of the Earlham Nation, just on behalf of me, Bryan Nation. Mitch is doing his best to disregard me completely. It's probably safer that way. Surprisingly, that pitch missed inside. Full count, and really a poor swing there by Drew, and he will sit down. So back-to-back strikeouts.
Someone's watched the Masters a little too much so far.
Absolutely. So here's Matt Barger, the left fielder. Matt ground out in his first at-bat. See if he can get something started for the Quakers. There's an inside pitch for a strike. 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Get Copland working quickly, and there's an excuse me swing, and it is going to turn into a knock. I'm not sure that Barger wanted to swing that. I think he tried to pull that back, but sometimes fortuitous things happen on when you don't expect it. So nonetheless, it goes down as a base hit. And Barger is 4 for 4 on stolen base attempts. And let's see how aggressive the Quakers want to be. We'll go back to the top of the lineup, and Brennan Laird. Brennan 0 for 2. Came into the game batting .361 with 4 home runs, 21 RBI. He struck out 23 times in 83 at-bats, and that throw over to Jack Barger results in nothing but a delay.
Once more. Gotta love those.
Oh, it's the best ever.
This delay was brought to you by.
And that's going to be a stolen base. And getting a little bit fortunate was Barger in that ball was in the turf. And Ford was not able to handle it cleanly. So I believe that's the second stolen base for the Quakers. They're averaging nearly 3 a game, and they have 2 here in the bottom of or in total they have 2 here as we have played 4 plus. 2-0 the count now to Brennan Laird. 2 outs. The Quakers have a runner in scoring position.
After that stolen base, Copeland doesn't even know what to think about over Barger now.
Brendan Laird has a lot of room in left center as the center fielder is well shaded toward right field. That pitch hangs high. And again, this goes back to what I was talking about. You pitch to your defense. It would be surprising to see Copeland working the inside part of the plate with the way the defense is lined up here. But he does just that and misses. And that was a walk on 4 straight.
And now the Quakers really with a chance to make some noise here. Got base runners on first and second, and a powerful hitter with Ethan Bailey stepping up to the plate.
Ethan 2 for 2 on the game, on today's game. He's had a single, I believe it was pass short, but don't recall exactly back in the first inning. But I know his last single was a bunt down the third base line. Ethan came in batting .333, 1 home run, 16 RBI, and he has a chance to get the Quakers on the scoreboard. A well-hit ball down the third base line is foul. That's going to take just a second to clear the field.
Gotta love the hustle.
Yeah, because I still wouldn't be there. 0-1 to the senior from Greensburg. Oh, and they got him. They caught the runners, and the Quakers run themselves out of the inning. We will move to the top of the 6th. No score. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
We enter the 6th inning with no score.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you are missing a treat being if you're not here at Randall R. Sadler Stadium in what is becoming an overcast sky here in Richmond, Indiana. We move to the top of the 6th, no score. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for Manchester. No runs, 4 hits, 3 errors for the Quakers. And Howie Smith back to his first pitch strike ways, facing Taylor Zarinsky, the cleanup hitter for the Spartans. And there's a base hit past a diving Thomas Ray. And Zarinsky gets his second hit of the game. He has reached base all 3 times. So delivering up Tyler LaFollette, the right fielder, number 5 hitter, came into the game batting .396. 21 hits and 53 at bats, 1 home run, 14 RBI. Howie Smith gets the sign from Cody Krumloff, and he will fire. First pitch down and away, 1-0. So Zarensky down at first base. That was the Spartans' 4th hit. Smith fires the 1-0 delivery, and that is hit to center field. Laird will catch it easily, and we're 1 away. That is now, LaFollette is now 0 for 3, and he has flown out to center twice. Whatever the proper English is.
Plenty of batters today struggling so far, and some of them, oddly enough, are the ones that you wouldn't expect to as well.
There's Eric Nepper. He has struck out twice. Howie, a quick check of Zarensky. That pitch missing outside, 1-0 as Nepper showed bunt. It phased Brandon Smalling none as he is rooted in his position. Quakers looking for the double play. Nepper again will show bunt. This time it'll be fouled out of play. Count now 1-1. Smalling now will take a couple of steps in. Middle infielder is in double play position. There's a swing and foul out of play. 1-2. Smalling will drop back to his regular positioning.
Now you definitely got to keep it low and put your team in position to get the double play here.
Here's the 1-2 to Nepper, and that's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. Deets to Ray to Elkis. And that's the way to end an inning. So we'll move to the bottom of the 6th. Quakers looking to get on the board. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
The bottom of the 6th inning with no score. Good fans, today is Breast Cancer Awareness Day here at Randall R. Sadler Stadium, and you can still make donations at the concession stand. Fans who do make a donation will receive a special ticket for a drawing to take place at the end of the 7th inning for a basket of pink goodies. Make your donation now at the concession stand.
Ethan Bailey will step back to the plate. You might remember he was at bat when the Quakers had runners at first and second and sent the runners, and they was caught stealing. So Bailey, 2 for 2 on the day, will step up. Lane will get a couple of steps in down at third base after Bailey's successful bunt in his last time at the plate. It's a 1-0 count. Make it a 2-0 count. And Copeland has done a really nice job on the mound for the Spartans, as has Howie. That breaking ball hangs. I'm not sure. I guess it missed high. Although we've seen, at least in my opinion, we've seen pitches higher than that called a strike. But now we have a 3-1 count to Mr. Bailey. Copeland working very quickly, and then was ball 4. I don't think it hit him, did it? Just was ball 4.
It was close. He didn't have much room to work with there, but just enough to get him over to first base. And look, now you got no outs, runner on first. If you're a Quaker fan, if you're the Quakers in general, you got to get something working here, especially because one run might just do it.
Sure, and Ethan Bailey, he's got speed, smart runner. We'll see how aggressive the Quakers want to be. Here is Thomas Ray, and he lays the bunt down, and it's a pretty good one. Definitely accomplishes the task of getting Bailey into scoring position.
Spartans definitely knew what was happening there, as you saw Lane over at third base was well inside the path, ready to get that bunt, and you saw that Ray had to put it over the other side because he saw him right there.
So here is Brandon Smalling, the Quaker third baseman. Has not had a base hit yet this ball game, but he has a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. And here is ball one. Ethan Bailey down at second base, representing the go-ahead run, and that breaking ball missing. 2-0 now to Smalling. After the walk to Bailey, and now 2 balls to Smalling, got to think you could be very selective here. Look for a good pitch. And there's a fastball in the inner half for strike one. Copeland finally starting to struggle just a bit. The Quakers, this may be their best opportunity. Ethan Bailey down at second base. No action in the Spartan bullpen. And that breaking ball hangs up, and that's going to be a base hit. Ethan Bailey will make the turn, and he will score easily. And the Quakers finally get on the board and take the lead 1-0.
Just like that. All it takes is one to get on there, and, you look over, and no one's really reacting too much in the Quaker dugout. It just might be one of those days where those delays just keep you dragged out, and you just kind of got to battle through and chip away.
And all of that, as it seems like happens far too often if you're a pitcher, the leadoff walk ultimately scores. Thomas Ray with the sacrifice bunt got Bailey into scoring position, and then Brandon Smalling cashing in and getting his 20th RBI of the season. And here's Eric Elkus, the first baseman, the number 5 hitter. Junior from Edgewood, Kentucky, came into the game batting .316. He's got a 1-1 count. Again, only 1 out, and the Quakers still have a runner on base. Snap throw down to first, and that was a lot closer than I think Brandon knew. It seemed like he was hustling back, but maybe a little more lackadaisical than you would hope.
Yeah, it seemed like he slid a little too early as well. He was sliding for quite a while, and he was really reaching out for there, trying to get every inch he could to get back.
Here's the 2-1, swing and a miss. So the count evens out at 2-2. Quakers definitely would love to have some more insurance runs here, especially with the way the defense is played heretofore. That pitch missing. 3-2. And if you're Copeland, the way that you've pitched in this ball game, you kind of maybe feel a little jilted, finding yourself down.
Oh, of course, he's done a great job so far, and in just a matter of 2 batters, the score, now all of a sudden your back's on the wall, you're down 0-1. You got to keep yourself in good position. Just hope that your batters are able to get you back up there on top.
But I guess to be fair, that run was scored realistically because of his walk.
Yep,
so he's kind of responsible for that himself, but he has really pitched a nice ball game up to this point.
He really has. It's been a great pitching duel so far. If you're a fan of pitching, then this is definitely the game for you.
Absolutely. Count still full. 1 away. Bottom of the 6th. Quakers have finally broken through and taken the lead 1-0. The opening game of a 3-game set. Today was originally supposed to be a doubleheader. It's actually just going to have 1 game played today due to the snow that we got last night. And tomorrow will be a doubleheader. The key series, and that ball is hit well. Deep left field. Will it hang up? At the wall, off of the Maroon Monster. That is going to be a double.
And if that wind there, it's blowing in. I mean, any other day, that could have easily been 2 more runs for the Quakers.
That ball was absolutely hammered by Eric Elka. Smalling had to hold up. He wasn't sure if Schultz was going to be able to catch that or not. But, again, now the Quakers really in business. Runners at second and third with only 1 out. And Joe Piper will step to the plate. The Quaker designated hitter, batting .295 coming into this ball game. And he does have a base hit today against Taylor Copland. The infield is in. As you would expect, they don't want any more runs, particularly with the way Howie Smith has been pitching. And that breaking ball hit him. And we have bases loaded for the Quaker catcher, Cody Krumloff, who is, oh, by the way, batting only .354, 23 hits and 65 at-bats coming into this ball game, with 1 home run and 9 RBI. And that's going to draw a visit to the mound. No activity in the Spartan bullpen. And now you're going to see some activity.
That's one thing. If you got a team here that's doing pretty good so far, like for the Spartans, for instance, they've done a great job pitching. You really got to dig into their bullpen because with the series here, you got to try to use up anything they have because you just got to be able to hit off some pitcher. And I mean, right now, as of now, Copland's been doing a great job up until this.
So the Spartans with some double-barreled action, and I really like what the Quakers did there. Pull all the runners in as the Spartans were having their meeting. Quakers had their own meeting, and I think far too often that doesn't happen enough to make sure everyone's on the same page. Here's how we're going to play this if this happens, or here's what we expect, Piper to do. It just, you just reduce the chances for thinking or errors, by the kids out there.
There's no reason not to do that, in essence. With a game on the line and this much at stake, two of the top 3 teams in the conference, there's no reason not to do that.
Copland fires, now 2-0. So he just really has fallen off with his control. I mean, he just zipped through this ball game in 5+ innings of pitching and just was really dealing. And then now all of a sudden, his control, his command is really gone off the rails. Here's the 2-0 delivery. That ball is hit down the third base line, foul.
And really, if you just watch him as he's walking back to the mound, in the other innings, he'd walk right back there, get in position, just get ready for the sign. This inning alone, he's done some walking around, looking down at the dirt, just kind of going through the motion, trying to figure out what to do to get out of this, and it's kind of slowing him up.
Yeah, a little shook. Here's the 2-1, and that's foul tip there at the plate. That'll run the count even at 2-2. 1 away, bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th. The Quakers have already scratched a run across the plate on a base hit by Smalling that scored Ethan Bailey. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. That is a nice job battling back by Taylor Copland. And that'll bring up Christian Smith. No, excuse me. Drew Dietz, I'm sorry, the Quakers' second baseman. Came into the ball game batting .147. 5 hits and 34 at-bats. He's 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout. Just get the ball in play, and that is in the left field power alley. The center fielder does get there. I tell you what, Nepper, this of the Eric variety, covered a lot of ground and really robbed Dietz of a base hit that would have probably cleared the base. Well, definitely would have cleared the bases. However, the Quakers, I apologize, Ty, the Quakers do score a run, and we will move to the top of the 7th with the Quakers having the 1-0 lead over the Spartans. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network. We'll move to the top of the 7th. Quakers up 1-0. Howie Smith's first pitch is fouled out of play, as it'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Spartans. Here's Elliott Ford, the catcher. He has struck out twice, and he's down 0-1. Quakers had an opportunity to really put some insurance runs across the plate in that last half inning. But regardless, they do get the 1 run. That's probably the most important, especially with the way that Howie Smith is dealing. Here's the 1-1 is fouled back. 1-2.
You got to start somewhere.
Got to start. See, Ty, that's exactly right. That is a truism.
You got to take baby steps. You can't just put up 5 in 1 hit. You know, you just got to chip away.
And that's going to be a base hit. So Ford finally gets off the schneid of his 2 strikeouts. And we're going to see a change. It looks like it's number 40-something. 43. Trichek. Alec Trichek. Sophomore from Charlotte, Indiana. I have to say I have zero idea where that's at.
Charlotte? I believe that's not too far from here. Between, out by, past Centerville?
I have no idea.
Between Centerville and Greenfield, possibly.
Look at Ty dropping the geography knowledge. Of course, he could have made all of that up, and I would have no idea. You could have said it was next door. That would have been. Another delay, another meeting. Someone should call roll. We are in the top of the 7th inning. With your score, Earlham 1, Manchester 0, Quakers 1 run on 6 hits and 3 errors. Spartans no runs on 5 hits, no errors. No Trichek at the plate. Ford down at first. Trichek shows bunt and lays down a good one. He stumbles coming out of the box, or otherwise I think he's safe. That was a great bunt. And Smalling has this hitch that he seems to always do when he's pulling the ball out of the glove and getting ready to throw. I really believe if Trichek doesn't fall, that the Spartans have runners at first and second. But regardless, it's 1 away. And that's going to bring to the plate Christian Smith. Smith has been on base his prior 2 at-bats. He singled and reached on an error. I don't know why I said that so properly, error, but Smith gets the ball hit back to him, as I believe Smith wanted to check that swing. But it will go down as an out. And we'll move to the top of the lineup in Chad Schultz. Chad is ground out, been hit by a pitch, and I believe I missed one of his at-bats, but nonetheless, he'll step to the plate with Ford down at third base. The tying run, 90 feet away. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Smith's pitch popped up. Should be an easy play for Laird, and he does. So again, Howie Smith pitches out of trouble, and we'll move to the bottom of the 7th inning. If you know a song, sing it. The 7th inning stretch. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
We head to the bottom of the 7th. Quakers on top, 1-0. Time now for the 7th inning stretch. Leading off the bottom of the 7th inning, the left fielder, number 20, Matt Barger.
Matt Barger, the Quaker left fielder, and the 9-hole hitter will step to the plate. He is 1 for 2 on the day with a ground out and a single. Shows bunt, but pulls it back, and the pitch is over for a strike. Bullpen activity down for the Spartans has slowed down a bit. Copeland misses high, 1-1. Spartans down to their final 6 outs. Copeland missing, 2-1. Boy, when he hit the wall with command, he really did hit the wall.
He really did. He left no doubt.
That breaking ball just absolutely had no snap to it. Stays up high. 3-1. And there's a walk on 5 pitches. We'll get back to the top of the lineup for the Quakers. There's Brennan Laird. Came in batting .361 with 4 home runs, 21 RBI. He walked his last time up. He's 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs.
You almost just got to wait for him. He's definitely one of the better hitters in the lineup, and kind of just wondering when that bat's going to come alive.
I feel like it's going to be this at bat. Copeland struggling with command. Quakers get the run, so you have a little bit more confidence. Know that you'd love to have another run. And that ball is in the dirt, and he is safe. So Barger now 5 for 5 on stolen base attempts, and there's the 3rd successful steal for the Quakers in this ball game. Now the meeting between Laird, Jared Broughton, the third base coach for the Quakers, had as a chat with Laird. No outs, runner at second. You wonder if it's going to be the bunt or maybe the show bunt, pull back swing, which I always love.
You never know. He could also just be messing with Manchester there.
Absolutely.
Saying,
which would be good. Here's the 1-0. Third baseman in. And the spin by Copeland to see if they could catch Barger.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. He's done it multiple times.
And there was a swing fouled to the screen behind home plate. Count evens out at 1-1. Laird still has really all of his options open to him. You could be aggressive and send Barger and have Laird show bunt, force that third baseman to maybe charge and not be ready for the steal attempt.
Yeah, but honestly, I mean, my perspective, I'm no coach. I'm not qualified for it. But, I mean, if you're up 1-0 and it's this important of a game, no outs, there's no need to be super aggressive either.
Yeah, don't run yourself out of the inning.
As we saw earlier, runners in first and second, they both tried to steal, and that was the end of it.
1-2 the count to Brendan Laird. No outs here at the bottom of the seventh. Matt Barger on at second base after a walk and a steal. Copland fires. Breaking ball is hit foul. Count will stay at 1-2.
But then again, on the other hand, if that were to happen and it works, then he looks like one of the most brilliant coaches out there.
Yeah, and, you know, we had the discussion, I believe it might have been off air, but that's one of the many things that I love about Coach Sakasits is that he doesn't always play things by the book. And, yeah, sometimes that's going to bite you. Absolutely it is. But then other times you're going to – and then we just ran ourselves out right there. So the fielder's choice will have Laird at first base, and Barger is thrown out at third. Give Copland a lot of credit for checking the runner. Sometimes, in the heat of the moment, you see players not even check.
That's a great play as well over at third to be able to hold onto the ball that quick of a play and be able to keep control of it as well.
One away, Laird 19 of 21 in stolen base attempts, and he gets the biggest lead of really anyone on the team so far. Ethan Bailey at the plate. Ethan has had a great day so far. 2 for 2, 2 singles, a walk, and a run scored. And there's Laird. He gone. And a poor throw from Ford as he had to rush it. And Laird is down at second base on the steal.
I swear teams must have nightmares when they see they have to play Earlham next. They just know that they have to be ready anytime there's a base runner.
And again, the other beauty part of that is you're always forcing the defense to make a play. And again, sometimes that's going to come back and bite you, but more often than not, I'll take my chances on forcing somebody to make a decision or make a play and then maybe they overdo it. I just think it opens yourself up to more opportunities.
Yeah, and then the defense has to be on their toes at all times. And if you are constantly in it, it's easy to make mistakes.
Bailey will foul that out of play. 2-1 now the count to the senior. Copland eyes forward as he goes through all of his gesticulations with the runner down at second base. And there's a turn and rip shot from Ethan Bailey. He will get the RBI on the single, and the Quakers now lead 2-0. Ethan Bailey 3 for 3, an RBI and a run scored, go along with the walk. That's so far your man of the match.
Another little sucker.
Absolutely.
Right there as well. I'm picking up.
That was on purpose because Ethan has helped us out for my first couple of years of doing Quaker soccer games. And I believe that's going to do it for Taylor Copland as Coach Esposette comes out. And we'll step away ourselves as the Quakers take a 2-run lead here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Still only one away, and Ethan Bailey down at first. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network. The new pitcher for the Manchester Spartans is number 44, Garrett Phelps, sophomore from Covington, Indiana. That's on the west side of the state. Phelps, a 3.60 ERA, made 5 appearances, pitched 5 innings, has given up 5 runs. 2 of those earned. 8 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. And he's 1-0 to Thomas Ray. Thomas will step out. Ethan Bailey down at first base. I believe Ethan already has a steal in this game, does he not? Yes, he does. Swing and foul out of play. 1-1 to Thomas Ray. Ethan Bailey, responsible for both runs, scored the first, drove in the second. Quakers have a 2-run lead. And Ethan will need to get back quickly as that ball is caught in foul territory by Zarensky. So Thomas Ray has had a tough ball game. I believe he is 0 for 3 with a sacrifice. So Brandon Smalling. He has a single and an RBI. Brandon with 1 home run, 19 RBI coming into the game, batting .342 for today's contest. Bailey gets a good lead. There's the pitch out that gets away from Ford. Pass ball on Ford allows Bailey to go to second.
Bold strategy. Very bold strategy.
You know, with 2 outs, really no need to try to get Bailey stealing. Just go after the hitter. And it's, Smalling, yes, he singled and had an RBI, but I believe he's 1 for 3 on the day. Maybe 1 for 4. No, 1 for 3.
Also, if you just pitch at him, you have options at second or first for the force out. Now you only got 1 base for the force out to work with.
Pitch missing inside now, 2-0.
Definitely with how aggressive the Quakers are on the bases and how good they've been so far this season at batting, you don't want to give them any room to work with.
Phelps' pitch is hit back up the box. A good diving play by Smith. He throws it into the field turf, and a great scoop by Zarensky, and that'll end the inning. However, the Quakers score a run. And we move to the top of the 8th. Earlham 2, Manchester nothing. You're watching Quaker Baseball, the Radio Troy Digital Sports Network.
We head to the 8th inning. Your Quakers on top 2-0.
Lane, Sean Nepper, and Taylor Zarensky due up for the Spartans here in the top of the 8th inning. Spartans find themselves down 2-0. Quakers with some activity in the bullpen for themselves. Ty has better young eyes than I do, so if we get the number of the gentleman warming up in the pen, we will give you that information. 1-0 Dalton Carter, number 16, warming up. Good stop by Smalling. Again, he pounds that ball in the glove before throwing it. Sometimes I wonder if he knows he has just an absolute cannon for a right arm. If maybe it makes it takes a little longer than he should.
And I don't know if it's just his mechanics that helps him kind of snap that ball back to release it. But man, once he gets that ball in his hand, it's getting there as quick as it possibly can.
I tell you, I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, how well he would do as a pitcher, because the fastball, he's got to be in the upper 80s or something. I mean, he just fires.
It was a rocket. I'd hate to be the first baseman right there having to catch it. If it hits your palm, you're going to be feeling that for a while.
So Sean Nepper at the plate with a 1-1 count. Howie Smith continuing to pitch well. Has pitched around 3 Quaker errors. That off-speed pitch misses 2-1.
That's one thing as well, having 3 errors on there and you're still up 2-0. You're in good positioning.
You know, it's not like those errors just allowed runners to get to first. I mean, he's had trouble. I mean, runners in scoring position that he's had to pitch around.
He's finished innings with runners on second and third, one on third. I mean, he's really had to dig himself out of some holes, and he's really proven his worth so far for the pitching rotation for the Quakers.
Count is now full to Nepper. 1 away, the top of the 8th inning. Will fire the pitch, and it is hit down the line just past a diving Smalling. And up quickly with it is Barger, and he will hold Nepper to a single. And that'll bring to the mound Coach Sakositz. Smith. Coach Sakositz, just an absolute joy to deal with from a media perspective, and certainly a fantastic baseball coach, and has really done a great job with this program. And it's now becoming a destination for baseball players in this area, and rightfully so, not only to play in this facility, but get to deal with a coach like Steve.
I mean, who would not want to play as their home field here?
Manchester.
That's true. That's one instance there, I guess.
Howie's first pitch to Zarinsky is in there for a strike, 0-1. 1 away here at the top. No, but you're absolutely right, Ty. I mean, this is just a gem of a facility. And, again, a big thank you to Mr. Sadler and his family for allowing this to take place.
And unfortunately, a lot of people in the Richmond area don't really know what they have here either as well. They just don't.
Smith will fire. That ball will find its way out of play. Yes, it does. So 0-2 now to Zarinsky. This program, the Quaker baseball program, has come a long way in the last few years. And you can maybe trace it back to when John Cate was the coach and hired Coach Sakositz. But I think that's really where the genesis of the turnaround happened. And Coach Sakositz, not only with the recruiting and the winning, that then gave Mr. Sadler and his family the idea that, yeah, this program is, on the right path, and with a solid facility can continue to grow and prosper and become what it has become now, and also what it can be even further down the road with the continued stewardship of Coach Sakositz. It's just a fantastic job by all those people.
You can tell that Coach Sakositz has really established a winning culture, and many people are catching on, and his players are completely buying into the system.
Ethan Bailey will track down this fly ball for out number 2. That'll bring to the plate Tyler LaFollette. Sean Nepper still at first base. But 2 away here in the top of the 8th inning. Quakers lead 2-0. This would be a big win for the Quakers to start this 3-game set. know why I continue to say Mitch Blakespor is the best SID in the history of the world?
I feel like he might possibly be the best SID
Well,
in the history of the world.
there's no possibility. It's fact. I mean, it's science. It's fact. But he points out that Coach Esposito, the 19-year veteran of the Manchester Spartans program, was the first base coach for the first 6 innings. Now that the Spartans are behind, he has moved over to the third base coaching job. And that is a good note. And Ethan Bailey will squeeze out number 3. The Quakers will move to the bottom of the 8th inning for hopefully their last offensive time at the plate. Hopefully they won't need to come back anymore. And we'll be back for the bottom of the 8th in just a moment. Quakers up 2-0 over Manchester. You're watching Quaker Baseball on the Radio Troy Digital.
You see the red and white tickets. Get those tickets out. Winner of our Breast Cancer Awareness Day Flip Basket. Ticket number 574364. 574364. If that is your ticket, please take that to the concession stand at this time. Leading off the bottom of the 8th inning, the first baseman, number 19, Eric.
You know, Ty, I love each and every person in this press box, but none more than Mitch and Caitlin. And yourself. And I'm sorry I don't know you, sir, but you are a fine American as well. Megan, you know, we love Megan. Yeah, she's a European brute, really. She scares me into liking her. She has assimilated into the American culture of punch first, ask questions later.
It's always nice when they can settle in that quick, too.
So a quick out to start the bottom of the 8th inning by Eric Elkus, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Joe Piper. Piper has had a base hit in this ball game. 2 runs on 7 hits, 3 errors for the Quakers, no runs on 6 hits, no errors on the Spartans. And there is a base knock from Piper as he turns it down the third base line, and that'll be a double. And the Quakers have a little bingo going here in the 8th inning. You know, you talked about at the beginning of the broadcast about momentum and how it can start to get things rolling, and it can be a negative thing that continues to snowball, or it can be a positive thing that continues to snowball. And the way that this game has turned in the last 2 innings, 2+ innings, let's say, that's really hopefully going to carry over for the Quakers into the doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, if you even just look over at the dugout right now, the Quaker dugout, all the players are up at the fence talking to everyone. You can really tell that, like, the energy has picked up. And, I mean, as you can tell right there, that knock put someone already in scoring position with only 1 out, and they're looking to add on to this lead.
Devin Spurgeon will come in to pinch run for Joe Piper, and that'll bring up the catcher, Cody Krumloff. Cody has struggled at the plate, but he has an opportunity to put another run on the board for the Quakers, and I'd feel a little bit better with another insurance run here. Spurgeon gets the lead, and there's a foul out of play by Krumloff. Count is 1-1. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Quakers up 2-0 with a runner at second base. And there's a ball hit down the third base line. Spurgeon gets checked, but then he will advance to third, and that was a good job of base running. We saw the Quakers have a runner thrown out in a very similar situation earlier in the game. Spurgeon played that very well, and now the Quakers have a runner at third and Drew Dietz, the second baseman, at the plate.
And that might just show that early on, whenever that happened, it was 0-0, and they're just eager to get in position and just kind of made that small mistake.
Dietz with a big cut, swing and a miss. Garrett Phelps still on the mound for the Spartans, and that ball will fall out of play. 0-2 now to Dietz, and that's going to draw a visit to the mound. Or actually a visit to the base umpire. I'm not sure what's going on, what this is about. Oh, yeah, that's right. Spurgeon.
And as we were looking up in the air, you see someone crossing home plate.
I apologize. I missed that completely.
I mean, both of us as well.
So it's a 3-run Quaker lead. And again, all the more reason why it's important to get a runner as close to home as you can, so the run scores. And forgive us for missing that, as we were watching if that ball was going to be caught in the field of play. So now the count goes to 0-1 as that foul actually didn't happen because of the balk. Count now 1-1. You know, just watching Phelps now as he comes set, maybe it was how the balk was called, is perhaps he didn't come to a complete stop or, complete rest. Because if you watch maybe he just went a little too fast. Maybe it's not a demonstrative enough stop when the runner was on base.
And there's plenty of things that go into that as well, and it's a pure judgment call on the umpire as well. So, I mean, really, almost in a sense, you'd have to break it down if you kind of watch the tape back, but it's really kind of a judgment call around the instance.
2-2, and that pitch will be popped up, and it should be an easy play for Zarinsky, and it is. And we move to the top of the ninth, but a key run scores for the Quakers. They take a 3-0 lead into the top of the ninth, and it looks like we will have a pitching change. We will come back and talk about that, but Howie Smith has pitched a whale of a ball game and stands to earn a victory if we can get 3 outs here in the top of the ninth. Quakers lead 3-0. You're watching Quaker Baseball. The radio.
One run crosses the plate on 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on. We head to the 9th inning. Quakers on top 3-0. Now entering the game for your Quakers on the mound. A record of 5-0 and 2 saves, an ERA of 0.92. The freshman from Lafayette, Indiana, number 8, Walter Talcott.
As we move to the top of the 9th inning, we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Quakers, that being freshman Walter Talcott from Lafayette, Indiana. In 10 appearances, he has a 5-0 record, 1-loss record. He has 2 saves, a .92 ERA, He's pitched 39 in the third innings, given up 28 hits, 4 earned runs, 7 walks, and 37 strikeouts. He will face Nepper, Zarinsky, and LaFollette. And he is 2-0 now to Sean Nepper, the Spartan shortstop. Talcott's like a whirling dervish out there as a freshman. Got that quick flick, and there is a strike. And as Ty pointed out, he has got some majestic lettuce coming out of that hat.
Oh, man, with hair like that, you can tell he just means business right from the get-go.
The reigning pitcher of the week in the HCAC, as I believe Brendan Laird was the offensive player of the week. And there is a base hit. That's going to be a 2-bagger for Sean Nepper. So the Spartans are not going to go quietly into that good night. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't Sean Nepper. That was Eric Nepper, the center fielder.
Got a lot of Neppers running around.
Yeah, I was Neppered. That'll bring up the catcher, Elliott Ford. So it's 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up. Eric Nepper, Elliott Ford, and Braden Stell scheduled. But it looks like Stell is going to be pinch hit for. And that is ball 1 to Ford. As the sun sets, the clouds move over, noticeably darker here at Sadler Stadium. No lights. So if something unforeseen would happen and extend this game, a whole lot of light left. Talcott in there for a strike, 1-1. Just can't say enough about the pitching performance of Howie Smith. Just absolutely was dealing, pitching from ahead, and battling through some errors, and just a really nice job, and would certainly love to see a victory and a shutout, as it is deserved from the performance that he gave the Quakers here today.
Not only would that help him in the long run, I mean, coming off of a game like this for a 3-game series against, like I've said many times already, against another top 3 team in the standings, it really just boosts your overall team morale.
Absolutely. Here's the 2-1 from Talcott to Ford. That pitch missing low, 3-1. So as I mentioned, it was getting darker now. The sun will break through the clouds and cast some long shadows on this field and provide some difficulty for first baseman, second baseman, and right fielder. Talcott with the pitch, swing and a miss. Ford, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, has struck out 21 times coming into the ballgame. He struck out twice here today, but then he's also singled. It would be nice to get the first out of the inning right here. Eric Nepper down at second base, full count, and that will be hit back to Talcott. Good job of keeping Eric Nepper close to second base, and that is the first out of the inning. On the comebacker, and it's going to be number 28. This will be Tanner Hampton, a sophomore from Rochester, Indiana. Tanner, in 25 at-bats, has gotten 6 hits for a .240 batting average, 4 RBI. He's 1 walk, has not struck out, so you would think he is going to put the ball into play. But he probably hasn't faced a pitcher like Walter Talcott either. Sees that first pitch come across for a strike, 0-1. Quakers up 3-0 here in the top of the ninth, 1 away.